Another episode of the Thought Leadership Podcast and live show. And today we're going to talk about a topic that is very, very dear to me because it's the base of everything that you're doing. If you're a coach, consultant, and you are running, programs or one-on-one coaching, or you're teaching, somehow creating content, email lists, whatever you're doing, as long as you're working with a client in group or one-on-one and you have a community, you need to know who you're speaking to. And as you're working, probably you came into this profession because you really love serving your community, but it's also about helping the people who are the most receptive to your message. So ideal target audience, when we talk about ideal target audience, finding these people who you can truly serve, people that really want to take what you have to offer in terms of knowledge and facilitation and coaching and make something magical with it. So the ideal target audience, it's the base of everything. So I want to talk about that today, about how to really rethink the way you think about ideal target audience and avatar work and things like that, because it's not just writing down, I would love someone to be in between 20 and 30 and there's a woman and they have a child and I want to help them with this and that. It's not that way, and it can be much more in depth. You can know them much better than just having a very broad and general ideal target audience when you create this type of work. So my why I choose to speak about this today in this episode is because a lot of people, I see a lot of coaches, consultants doing this not wrong, but not to its full potential. I would say it just, if you could do the work of clearly understanding who you're serving, if it would be, the work we want to do today, I want to take it to 80%. If you're at 50 and 20 and in terms of understanding who you're working with and what they really need from you in your content, in your copy, in your sales, in your marketing, in your, in your support, getting them is serving them at a higher level. So we want to take wherever you are and we want to take it up 20-30%, the understanding of their real struggles, needs, experience working with you, and even before working with you, how to get to the next level. Okay, so the reason number one why I talk about this is because a lot of coaches and consultants get stuck with it. And what I mean by stuck is that they might create, a breakthrough call or no one is signing up to. They might create webinars that doesn't have a high conversion. They might have, a landing page and they're not selling with it. That is getting stuck. That is where we want to see what we can improve together. So get your paper and pen and write notes, because we're going to go deep into this topic. Now, the second right thing is that I want to talk about why I talk about this topic is because when you get this right, when you understand your ideal target audience, when you really get them, you can create a much better experience for them. So therefore, your programs are going to be better. Your pricing can be better because you really understand them. So you can actually charge what you're really worth in your, in your coaching programs. And your content and sales and marketing is going to be better because you're focusing on serving one audience and not everybody. It's very, very different approach. So basically, this is the base. If you get this right, you're going to get everything else right. It's really that simple. If you understand your target audience, and if you understand this target audience and you feel like, okay, I get them now, then you will be able to create a much better experience for them. And the third part is that I hear a lot of people saying that I've done the avatar work, I've done target audience work. And for me, it's a question of always reworking your ideal target audience, because as you grow as a coach consultant, your ideal target audience is going to grow as well. You want to work with people more experienced, more advanced, and you want to give even more to them that people can really receive what you have to offer. So the ideal target audience, there is no such thing as I've done the work, because it's a constant improvement what you're doing. So I want you to rethink that as well. This is why I'm talking about this topic today. The why for me is that there is a misconception in the industry that at ideal target audience research work is something that can be complete. It's something that we do in the beginning, but we do that throughout the programs, throughout our, every day you think about how can I improve the experience for them? And that's really, really important. So for me, this type of work is a deep work. It's a very profound work, and it's a beautiful work, because when you start to understand that this is the core of everything you're doing with, creating a coaching experience for your ideal clients, you'll be able to understand that it's much deeper than we can imagine. Okay? So let's jump right in how I see it and where I see that. I don't know for the ones listening or watching this where you are right now, but I always know that this is a work that you can do at any level. If you're a beginner, if you are a mid-level in your industry, if you have been around for a couple of years, if you're quite advanced, there's always another layer, another level when it comes to ideal target audience. So wherever you are right now, if you're listening and watching this, know that this episode is for you, because you'll be able to go deeper and even deeper in what you're creating. Okay, so there are 3 parts I want to talk to you about that is going to help you to better create an experience for your audience, your target audience, your dream clients. And the first one is really about thinking about a real person. So here's the thing that I hear quite often, that I have someone comes to me and they say, well, I have a target audience that is in this age group, or, they're families or men and women, or they might be freelancers, or they might be, managers. And it's so broad. And the problem with that is that if you have your ideal target audience being something so broad, is that you think that they all think the same, which is not the case. If you work with, let's say you work with high-level executives, and you put 20 of them in the same group, they don't have the same thoughts, beliefs, they don't have the same buyer blocks, they don't have necessarily the same needs from you. So it's very, very broad. It's very hard for you to create an experience for all of them in the same way. So here's where I would like you to rethink who you are, trying to target. And the who should be someone that you know. So when we create ideal, and when we do this work with our clients in our implementation program and even our high-level program, we always tell them to think about one person, and that one person should be a real person. They should have a real name, and they should be someone that they either have worked with before, or maybe a friend or someone in their context that they really know. So it's not someone they just make up, like saying like, okay, it's for Anna, or if it's for Michael, or if it's for Abdu. No, it's a real person that they have met. So it might be your best client you ever had. So when you're going through these questions, think about that. Who was the best client you ever had? And think about their name and really imagine their world and why they came to you and what they were going through and what they need right now. When I create these podcast interviews or live shows, or when I create my content, I have, for each of my programs, we have 3 levels of programs. We have a profit program that is about increasing the revenue for coaches and consultants, 5 to 10K. Within 90 days. We have a higher level program that is when you're already 6-figure business, and you have you need to hire a team and become the visionary of your company, things like that. There are different needs in those 2 different programs, right? And even for my VIP clients, there's another need. So for each level, I have a person in mind that I create the program for, and I have the content for, and my webinars for, and my podcast. So every time I'm thinking about creating something or improving something, I'm just thinking, what does this person need? So I can, for instance, say, let's say I have someone, let's just make an upper name, Denise. So let's say my ideal target audience is Denise. I worked with Denise before. Denise was an amazing client. She was showing up. She was committed. She was getting the work done. She was getting results. She was happy to work on the things that was going to improve her business and her coaching. Now, when I create something for that level, for that stage, I'm thinking about Denise. And I'm thinking, what does Denise need right now? And then I think about her. Another way to do it is also say, even put a real photo of me. That's like a bonus tip, but put a photo of them in front of your desk, in your, your desktop, or, in your room. And when you create content, when you create something, you look at their photo and say, what does Denise need right now? What does Denise need to hear? What is going on in her world? How can I help her right now? And then you create everything for her or for him. You take your own Denise and your own person, but you create it for that person. Because when you do that, every person who is like Denise, when you create your content, they're gonna say, oh my God, she speaks to me. They will say, oh my God, Daria, when she spoke about this and this topic, she spoke to me. I felt it because I was speaking to a real person. When you don't have a real person in mind, your content and your programs, or it might become a bit, not boring, but a bit unreal. It almost feels like it's empty of emotions. And when we speak with someone, we have emotions. We speak to them directly. We have this conversation. We have one-on-one conversation. Even in my content, in what I'm creating, I'm speaking to someone. And that someone might be Denise, might be Michael, might be someone else. You have this person in mind. You even maybe have a photo of them, which might sound very creepy, but it's very helpful. And then you say, what does this person need right now? How can I serve her? How can I help her even more? How can I go deeper? And that's going to help you a lot. So that's number one. Have a real person in mind when you're creating your group coaching programs, when you have your VIP coaching programs, when you have your sales copy, your email marketing, your podcasts, your opt-in. Have a real person in mind and say, I'm creating this for that person. And of course, if you have several levels of programs, so for instance, I have one 90-day group coaching program, one 6 months group coaching program, and I have a VIP for 6 months. They all have different names. They don't have the same person in mind when I create them. So they have different names. So when I create content strategy, marketing strategy, and sales strategy for each program, I have that person in mind. So I have 3 people in mind, real people, real photos, real connection I know inside out because I've been working with them already. And I know that I would like to have more clients like that. So that's number one, focus on a real person. Number 2 is understanding why they're not taking action. And that means that you might have someone that you would love to work with, but they don't sign up to your breakthrough calls, they don't, sign up to your programs, and you're thinking, why are they not signing up? What's not working from them? And there is something I learned from Russell Brunson, who wrote the book Expert Secrets. He is the founder of ClickFunnels, and that book is an amazing. I advise it to everyone to read it. He talks about the buyer blocks. Why are people not, taking action and signing up to what you're doing? And an interpretation of that, and I would really advise you to read it if you want to go deeper into that. But just to give you how I see it, what I learned from that book is that a person, before taking an action, they have different beliefs. And those beliefs, sometimes we think about, well, they're not signing up because they don't believe in my program. That can be a first idea. Let's say that I have a group coaching program and I have, I send it out to my email list and people are not signing up. I might think, well, they're not signing up because my offer they don't believe my offer. They don't believe what I have to offer in this way of working. Okay, so it might be that you teach them how to create an online course, but they don't want to do an online course. That can be something like that. They don't believe in that method or tool or something like that. That's the first thing. That's true. They might not want to sign up to what you have to offer because the program, the way of delivering doesn't work for them. But there are actually 2 more levels to that. One level is that they might not trust you enough. We would not work with someone if we don't like them or we don't trust them. So here's the thing. If they don't trust you enough, even if they trust that what you have to offer in terms of the program itself, the tool itself can work for them, if they don't trust you enough, they might not move forward working with you. And that can be solved with testimonials and case studies and, more examples and maybe a refund guarantee. There are many different ways to create more trust in your coaching programs and in your coaching support. However, if you don't have that in mind when you create the program, saying, what is keeping them away from trusting me, you might be losing an understanding of the real needs in what you have, what you're presenting. And the third one is their own beliefs. Even if they trust you, they say, oh my God, she or he is amazing. I really think they can help me. And I really see the value in the offer. I really see that it's super valuable and it's amazing, all the results people are getting, but they might not believe that they can do it themselves. So that's the third one. Understanding that what might keep them away is their own belief about what they're capable of. And that's very important to have in mind, because sometimes we see other people having results and say, but that's not me, I cannot get there. And if you can help them to also understand that they have, help them with the confidence, help them with saying that you can also do that, but not just by saying it, but really motivating people and seeing in them that they are afraid, and understanding that, and talking about it and working through that together, the fear, the imposter, the fear of rejection, the fear of, stepping up, fear of success. If you can have that honest conversation with them and saying, I see you and I see where you come from, and it's normal, and we will work through that together, and you can help them to understand that you see them fully in their own limiting beliefs, and you're going to be there to help them to work through that. That is a game changer. So that's the thing with beliefs. It's that when you understand, the art of understanding your ideal target audience, it's understanding that it's not just your offer that they're not buying into. Maybe they are not trusting you enough, or maybe they don't trust themselves enough. So if you learn to address all three of them, you're a much better support for them. You're going to help them much better because you get them. And this is why we should have a real person, because if you have worked with a person, you know where they're getting stuck. You know why they're, self-sabotaging sometimes. I know my ideal clients, I know them inside out. I know them so well, and I know exactly where they're gonna get stuck. I know exactly where they're gonna say, maybe next week. And then I can help them to work through that, because I also know how to get out of that circle that they're in, because I've had other people like them. My ideal target audience, that's the kind of connection I want you to have with your clients. I want you to really get them, not just on the mental level, but also on the emotional level. What's going on in their life? What are they going through? Okay? And the last one that I want to talk about, step number 3, is to actually ask them. I spoke to many online course educators, like people who create big email lists, have a huge Facebook, ad account, and they have not a big amount of people signing up to their breakthrough calls, not a big amount of people signing up to their courses. They've been working for months and months and months and months, and they launch, and crickets. And then they say, Daria, but I don't get it. I've done the work. I've been working on this. I created all this content and blah, 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 blah. And I asked them, did you actually ask why people didn't sign up? Did you actually have the conversation with your ideal target audience and just ask them, how come you did not sign up to the breakthrough call? How come you did not sign up to the course? Can you let me know? Not in the way that you're going to try to convince them, but just have the conversation. And this is something I learned from my own mentor when I was starting in the online course world and online program world. I learned to ask the question, the very uncomfortable question, because it's super uncomfortable to ask, your community and say, hey, I saw that you joined the webinar and I saw that you clicked on, on the link to join, but you didn't join. I'm not trying to convince you or anything, but could you please help me to better understand how come did you not sign up? I'm not trying to convince you to change your ideas, but I would love to serve my community even better. So can you please take a minute just to share with me what made you not sign up? And some people will get uncomfortable, but many people will, if you come from that point of view of not trying to reconvince them to do something else, if you just say, I want to better understand you and I want to better understand my audience, can you just share with me why you did not sign up to this call, why you did not sign up to the program? Maybe there's something I'm missing. And they might say, you know what, I think I cannot make it with time. And you realize that maybe you haven't mentioned the time investment in your landing page. Or maybe they say, I cannot pay, this amount at this month. And you say, well, you can actually pay in 3 installments. And you can add those things into your, in your offer. You can add those maybe missing information. Maybe there's something, and maybe they're just not the right fit. Maybe they say, hey, you know what, I feel it's not the right fit for me. So you might understand that you're not attracting the right audience in your content, in your landing page, etc. So it's about really getting uncomfortable to better serve and asking the question of, how come did you not sign up? How come you did not join? Why would you not join my webinar? having that conversation, the more you will have that type of conversation, getting very vulnerable and say, listen, I'm not going to try to sell you anything. I just want to understand. Please help me to serve you better. Please help me to serve my community better. How can we make this better for you? What would make you join? What would make you feel like this is an irresistible offer? And that, the third one I'm talking about here, is the one I see the most coaches, consultants, online educators trying to hide away from because it's so scary. And why is it scary? Because let's face it, when you create your group coaching, online course, one-on-one offer, it's your baby. It's basically, you're giving your heart because you're into coaching, consulting, because you really love serving people. So someone telling you that I'm going to join because of this and that, hearing the why, sometimes it hurts. But if you can go beyond the ego and, feeling that it's about you, it's not really about you, it's about them not seeing what you're seeing, or maybe you haven't explained in your other words how, they can have a best understanding what you really have to offer. Maybe there's something, if you can go beyond that feeling of rejection, because it's not really rejection, it's that right now at that specific moment, it's not going to be working together, that's fine. But if you can understand and you can rework and say, okay, what's missing and how can I improve it? Is there something I can do about it? Is there a way for me to help this audience to see what I'm seeing and what I'm trying to share? Or maybe I should move to another audience that, maybe my communication is not attracting the people who really wants to be joining me. If there's something I can improve, why would I not do that? And if you can have that conversation, you will avoid months and months of creating content that is not, serving the end goal, or sending out emails with 2,000, 3,000 people on it, realizing that no one is signing up. That's even worse. So instead of getting there, step in early in the process, in every step. If people are not signing up to your breakthrough calls, have that conversation. People are not signing up to your webinars, have that conversation. People are not signing up to your beta group, have that conversation. Ask and over again until you get it, because then when your offer is so solid, you'll be able to sell it on Evergreen with Facebook ads, and you'll be able to do it more automated. But in the beginning, when you are learning about them, when you're having a new offer that you're launching, go deep into this conversation, because it's going to help you so much. All right, so that's about it, what I wanted to talk to you about today. Please let me know what you're taking away from this in the comment below. Subscribe to our podcast, and we have this also in video form on YouTube. Please join our community. We have a community called the Thought Leadership Accelerator Community. I'm going to put the link below in the show notes. Join us. It's a fun community. You're going to learn a lot. If you're coach, consultant, really in the moment thinking of growing and impacting more people with your work, with your mission, join us. It's a free community. It's fun. It's really, every week we are sharing new content, new trainings for you to step up into your power and minimalize all the effort. Sometimes we are doing a lot of things, and my goal for you is to streamline your business. You don't overwork and, do all this stuff. It can be more simplified, and that's really my goal with this, with all these trainings, that you make it more simplified and you get to the core of how to improve, but improving in the actual, understanding of what's not working and what's working. Okay? Wonderful. So thank you so much for tuning in. I'm really excited to be here with you every week. Every Friday, we are publishing this podcast, and you can watch us live on our Facebook page and on YouTube. Basically, you find us everywhere. If you want to find us, you'll find us. Okay? So thank you for tuning in, and until next time.